How we doing, man?
I'm doing very well, Adrian. How about you?
Pretty good, man. Gearing up for this Stanley Cup Final. It's gonna be a good one. The rematch. I mean, who would have thought we would have got here? At the beginning of the year, of the season at least. Edmonton, Florida, back at it again. So it's gonna be a really good one. Both teams, I feel like, are a lot better than they were last year, and it should make for a great matchup. And I really can't wait for it, man.
No,
I want.
yeah, me either. Yeah, go ahead.
What's your opinion on the rematch and both teams? Pretty much.
Well, I'm enjoying everything. I wish they'd started earlier. I don't like that they waited so long. They were trying to coordinate it with the NBA Finals, which I find ironic that they really don't get along all year. The NBA and NHL fight over various things for spotlight, and then they get along this time of year. But whatever. It's allowed. That was the one thing, coordinating with the NBA. Also, they hype. They want to talk like this show and my show, and that hasn't hurt. That's helped. And I've been enjoying largely all of the opinions. There's been some stupid stuff out there too, but that's going to happen. Every fan base has some idiots in it. But like opinions, Adrian, like, oh, the NHL wants the Oilers to win, or the NHL wants the Panthers to win, or all the stupid stuff you hear, I can do without that. But hey, in the absence of playing games, you're going to get people talking junk. And that's, for now, I'm enjoying it. And today was media day, as you saw in Edmonton. So there was some interesting comments so far from what I've seen. Nothing inflammatory. You're not going to see guys like Jimmy Butler running their mouth off. Hockey players just aren't like, or Tyreek Hill. You're not just going to see hockey players say anything on the eve of the playoff or Stanley Cup Final, say anything bulletin board material wise.
Very
But yeah,
professional.
I've enjoyed the coverage.
That's awesome. So, you covered the Panthers a lot. Do you think this team is better than they were last year as far as talent wise or skill wise? Do you think they're lacking in any facets of the game? Obviously, we're talking about the two best teams in the league. Granted, they're in the Stanley Cup Final. So, I mean, what's your opinion on this year's Florida Panthers, especially after the trade deadline?
Well, the topic came up on our podcast, Cats and Bolts, with
Love
Serena,
it.
that exact thing. And there's do I think they're better? Probably not, to be perfectly honest. That was a special team last year. Not that this one isn't special, but it's half of their defensive core has been retooled. There's 9 new players from last year. Are they better than last year? Are those 9 players better? I don't know. Bob's the same. The usual suspects are the same. Barkov, Reinhart, Bennett, Kachuk, right? The biggest change is really 2 guys, largely, Brad Marchand and Seth Jones. And they've both been very good. What I'm getting at is if they don't win the Stanley Cup in the next 10 days to 2 weeks, they're not better. They're not
Yeah.
even as good, right? So do I think they're better? I honestly don't. I'm a really big fan of Oliver Ekman-Larsson. I loved what he brought to the Panthers last year on a 1-year contract. I was
Yeah.
a very big fan of Brandon Montour, as were the fans.
Same. Yes.
Yeah, Ryan Lomberg, who I know you loved, didn't even play in the playoffs, and Nick Cousins was
Yes.
another those sandpaper kind of guys. Those were special guys. Jonah Gadjevich is special. AJ Greer is special. Jesper Boquist is special. But do they have the mix as well as, I don't know. And Edmonton's better. Edmonton's a
Yes.
lot better. And they're pissed off, if you don't mind me saying, that they lost last year. And if you've been watching the playoffs, Adrian, there is a look in Connor McDavid's eye that
Yes.
from a Florida Panthers perspective scares me.
Yep. I say a lot. Like I just said it on our past show. I said they're pretty much in the same position we were in last year. Got to the final, lost, and now they're going back. I mean, this is a scary team. We already knew this from the previous year, and then they have the best player in the world pretty much. So, I mean, I'm a little worried too, but I'm confident. I'm confident that our style of play, translate to wins over them, and we beaten them already. We beat them twice this year. And then we beat them in 7 last year. So I have a confidence, but like you said, Connor McDavid, he's looking like a killer right now. So they're gonna bring, it's best on best. We'll see what happens, man. But I wanted to ask you, do you think this is, I mean, it's the Stanley Cup final, but do you think this is a must win for the Panthers just because all the deals they made at the trade deadline? Obviously, if you lose the Stanley Cup final, this is what you play for. It's a lost season for everyone. If you don't win the cup, it's a lost season for everyone. But do you think just because of the deals they made that this would be uh I would say like it's obvious, like I said, it's a disappointment for everyone, but do you think this is like a must win for the Panthers? I'm asking.
Well, you're a sports guy, so you'll understand this when I say it would depend how they lost if they lost. If they
Sure.
didn't put up much of a fight, some guys won't be brought back, right? But if it goes 7 games and they leave it all out there, empty their tank, hey, and the best team wins, what are you going to do? That's my answer to that. Paul Maurice is in the first year of a new deal. He's not going anywhere.
Hmm.
Bob, frankly, I think is in his prime. He's playing his best hockey right now. Bob's not going anywhere. They've signed Kachuk to long-term deals, Verhaeghe to long-term deals. They're gonna sign Sam Bennett to a long-term deal. They got Seth Jones for a long time. So, I mean, if they lose, depending on how they lose, you tell me because you're born and raised South Floridian. The love for the Panthers, I don't think isn't going anywhere. I think if they went back to being a bottom feeder like they were for the 2010s and a lot of the 2000s, that rink would be empty. They're the hottest thing right now, as you point out, the hottest team in South Florida, the most successful team in South Florida, and the
Definitely.
rink's full,
My fault.
and everybody's talking Panthers. Would that change if they lost this series? No, I don't. I don't think so. That's 3 straight trips to the finals. Like what I love about covering the NHL, as opposed to all the other leagues that I've worked with or in, they're very inclusive. And I was invited on a Zoom the other day with the NHL on TNT panel, and Eddie Olczyk was on there, and he goes, damn, that's impressive. 3 straight finals. I don't care who you are, right? So I think the biggest thing, Adrian, is they've left that never won a championship club, which is a horrible club to be in.
Yeah.
Winnipeg belongs in that. Vancouver, San Jose, Arizona, now Utah. There's a lot of teams that never won a. Panthers aren't in that anymore. So, you know, um, and they're going to be good for a long time.
Yeah.
They are
I believe so.
because of what I just said. They got everybody locked up long term. So I don't think they're a group that's just happy to get here. And Marchand, I've been on. It's funny. I was on Edmonton radio this morning. This is where I'm from. You know that I'm in Western
Yeah.
Canada right now. And they said, did the Panthers fans and media want the Oilers in this matchup? And I said, no. We had a poll on you probably saw it. You might have even voted on it
Yeah.
on our Instagram for Cats and Bolts.
Definitely.
Said, who do you want? And the Panthers fans, they wanted Dallas. They don't want to play
Hmm.
Edmonton.
Yeah.
And
Why would you?
no, well, I think we know why. They are on a mission. It's not to say
Yeah.
they're going to accomplish it, but they're a tougher foe than Dallas.
Definitely. I mean, they got the best player in the world. The dude is unbelievable at the hockey for real. Staying on that conversation, so we got everybody locked up. Bill Zito, you think he wins GM of the year finally?
He has to. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah, he's been a finalist 4 times or something.
yeah,
I think I saw. I mean, to be honest, he's got the Stanley Cup. I'd like to think he doesn't care, but who's kidding who? I've won a couple of awards the last year, and I'm like, dang, that feels good. So
yeah,
he deserves the recognition. But I mean, when you look at some of the ballots for the awards that have already been handed out, like Alexander Barkov wasn't even on some guy's ballots for the Selke Award.
yeah.
Like, what are you looking at?
That's crazy.
So
Yeah,
that's why I don't. Who should win and who does win are 2 different things a lot of times. In these NHL awards, I can't speak for MLB or NFL. Should he win it? Yeah, but he should have won it before. So,
yeah,
and the other thing I don't understand is why they do the voting in the regular season. They don't account for the playoffs. That makes no sense to me. That's the dumbest thing ever.
yeah. I don't think he would care either way. He wants another cup. That's what everybody wants. Awards, they come and go, and that's all. That's pretty much a media thing, isn't it? The awards. So I mean, they don't care. They want that cup. They rather have that. I would rather have that too than
Well,
any
and that's the
award.
thing is he is the GM of the year. He is.
Yeah,
So do you need the trophy? Like
yeah,
those of us that know. Like honestly, Adrian, I the Hall of Fame debate used to be one of my favorite debates in sports. Who should be in, who should not. But they've completely screwed up the Hall of Fame. The Pro Football Hall of Fame is not, but the Hockey Hall of Fame has. It's that's just they've gone the inclusivity route. Okay.
okay,
So I got
yeah,
some friends that have been basically blackballed from the Hall of Fame because they might have checkered past. You know what I mean? And it really
yeah,
bothers them. But they have the resume to be in. And I'm like, hey, you were a Hall of Famer. You know that, and I know that. What do you need the recognition for? But I kind of get where they're coming from. Bill's the same. You are the GM of the year. We all know it.
yep,
And I think when all's said and done, which we only got to wait a couple more weeks, he will be named the GM of the year. God, I would hope so.
yeah, right. Do you think this Florida Edmonton, just because both teams are so good and so well put together, do you think this is like a beginning of a new NHL rivalry, like that could be going on for years to come?
I don't, and I'll tell you why. But a lot of people are saying that. It's just, I could see the Panthers being a dynasty of their own, but I can't see, it's tough, man. And no, the two teams have not met in back-to-back finals since 83, 84. It's been
Yeah,
over 40 years since this has happened. Okay. And now with 1 year contracts and the transient nature of the way the players move around, I can't see it happening. That they would meet again. I mean, they're the furthest geographical rivals in the league, for God's sakes. Oh, Vancouver and Miami would be, or South Florida, but you know what I'm saying. Like they're not going to be
hmm
rivals. I can't see them meeting in a Cup final again. But I didn't necessarily think they were going to meet this year. I will say this: the odds makers at the start of the year, the sports books had this being the most likely matchup was a rematch. And that's pretty impressive because
yeah.
that's tough to predict.
Oh yeah, definitely. How about in net? You think who you think has the advantage? Bob or Skinner?
It's
Who you
Bob.
think who you think's playing well? Yeah, you're a Bob guy, so
Yeah, exactly. Well, I would have put him up against anybody because I think he's the best goalie in the world.
same.
And and the funny thing was, if you watch the games, they went down 0-2 in the Toronto series, and Bob was not involved. Like the first game, he was bad. And I'm
Yeah.
telling my Canadian hockey fan friends, I'm like, no, Bob doesn't have two stinkers in a row.
hmm
And then he did. They went down 0-2, and I'm like, well, Bob doesn't have three in a row, guaranteed. And for Bob, it's like literally right between his ears. He finally just said, enough, slammed the door, and he hasn't looked back. And
Yeah.
he's that guy. Whereas
Yeah.
the guy for Edmonton, Stuart Skinner, I'm a huge fan. I've been watching him since junior hockey, since before he was in the NHL. I love him. I'm a huge fan of his, but I just feel like he could blow up at any time. He didn't in the final last year. Like I'm a big fan of his, but basically what people are saying, the pundits that are my friends, are that Bob is proven. He's won the cup. He's won two Vezinas. You know what you're getting with Bob. You still don't totally know what you're getting with Stuart Skinner. So it's a great matchup in this series for sure, but that's a check mark I'm giving Florida.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Hey, I like Bob over anybody. Like, but so if this goes seven again, which it very well could, we all know this. Uh, you think that Edmonton? You think they will be better in a 7 game series compared to last year? I know we're talking about hypotheticals, but Florida they pound you, and it's rough to play Florida in a 7 game series, like with their depth and their grit, like 19 players done score for them in the playoff. It's incredible, like what they have done. Same thing with Edmonton, though. They have about the same amount of goal scorers, so their depth is up to par with ours. I just feel like a 7-game series playing against us is way tougher than any other team. And
Well, yeah, but that's why I'm a little surprised the odds makers are going with Edmonton to win this series in 7. And what I've seen is it's because of the home ice factor, which is a really big factor. I mean, there's been no better home team in the playoffs going back to 2023 than the Panthers, right? So they are the best home ice team. But that Rogers Place in Edmonton, I've been there. There's nothing like it. And McDavid last series against Dallas said, we have the best arena in the NHL and we play our best hockey here. So if it went 7, to answer your question, I wouldn't be feeling real confident as a Panthers fan.
you
The
don't think
two teams,
the way we've been
no.
playing on the road though?
Well, I'm just saying one game. It doesn't become a 7-game series at that point. It becomes one game. And it's
Sure.
going to depend on the health, frankly, of both teams because listen, I took the Panthers in 6 largely because my wife asked me not to pick the Oilers because she says I'm always wrong and she's an Oilers fan. But the Panthers' style of play wears both teams out. Like the one thing that, like this, a
Sure.
very hard style to play. If you watch, they are laying the body on in all 3 zones: offense, neutral zone, and defensive zone. That's tiring. Whereas
Yeah.
Edmonton, they're a straightforward one way, and they are a freight train. It's worked for them.
Hmm.
But they play 2 very different styles, and I think the Panthers, you've just said it, they grind you down, they wear you down. That's their plan, and will that work in this series? That is their plan, Adrian. But I don't know that it's going to work. Wouldn't it be nice if everything went to plan in life? It doesn't,
Right.
sports or life, right? So I don't like the fact that Edmonton's got home ice in round game 7 if it goes that far. But the other thing is the Panthers could have had home ice. Paul Maurice was resting guys pretty much for the last
Yep.
2 months of the season.
Oh yeah.
Cost them a lot of points in the standings. He, by design, did this. I don't think he's as worried about home ice as a lot of other people around there might be.
Same. Yeah, I think he knows what he's doing. I mean, we give it up. Paul Maurice is incredible, man. Incredible. Glad to have him as a coach. Definitely on the Florida Panthers. But yeah, just the last question. Who do you think will be the most important player in this series? Starters or bench, like for either team?
Yeah, it's going to be Connor McDavid because just like you know what you're getting out of Bob, you know what you're going to get out of Connor McDavid, right? He's a fantastic
Yeah.
leader. He's a fantastic captain, and I mean, he gave it all last year. Was named MVP of the playoffs on a losing team. I think that's only happened twice before in the history of the NHL. So he can't do it alone, but if he's playing 10 out of 10, which I think he will, he's going to be a lot to deal with. And that's the one thing I want to say is that Canadian hockey fans think U.S. hockey fans don't follow or don't care. And it's insulting to the U.S. hockey fans like yourself. They've become great friends of mine. You guys know everything about McDavid and you think it's cool that you're playing a Canadian team. You know what I mean? Like you guys know how
Yeah.
good he is. You saw him
Yeah.
firsthand last year in the Stanley Cup Final. He is the best player currently in the National Hockey League. Some are saying ever.
Yeah.
Okay. So for that reason, I believe he is the X factor in the series.
Definitely. And if he wins the cup, he's definitely in the GOAT conversation by
Oh,
far.
no 2 ways about it. Yeah. Now, having said, if you took him aside, who would be the next? Because again, he can't win it alone. He tried last year and didn't.
Drysaitel, right?
Um,
Has
yeah,
to be better.
probably. He was hurt last year. You know, he
Yeah.
didn't have a goal in the final, and I don't know why teams play their guys when they're hurt. I guess they feel that, well, Draisaitl at 80% or Kachuk at 80% are better than
Yeah.
a 4th-line plug at 100. I guess, you know, but he looks healthy, so it probably would be Leon Draisaitl, you know, and,
Yeah.
you know, all this talk's getting me excited for the games. Like I was, again, on the radio in Edmonton this morning, and they were like, who are they going to match up against McDavid and Draisaitl? Ekblad, Jones? I said, I don't know. I'm not the coach.
Yeah.
Let's see what they do. Let's get this series going.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm excited, man. I really can't wait. It's gonna be a really great series. No matter what way it goes. It's the two best teams in hockey, and we just got to enjoy it, right? That's all. I mean, they giving it to us. So, but thank you for coming on, man, talking this with me. I cannot wait. You said Panthers in 6. I agree with you completely. Panthers in 6. I don't think it goes 7 this year, and looking forward to it, man. I appreciate you, Rod. Rod Pedersen at Rod Pedersen Show, at Cats and Bolts Podcast with Serena Taylor, at Peterson Recovery. Also, let's not forget that one.
Yeah, thanks for all
All
your
right.
support on all that, Adrian.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you, man. I just want to let you know, man, you've been like a complete inspiration to me. And I love everything you're doing. I always support you. And I appreciate your support as well, man.
Of course.
It's been an honor to be your friend, man. So I just let's keep it going and let's enjoy the series, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks for the time.
All right. And in the great words of Jackie Moon, like always, man, everybody love everybody. Goodbye.